Skip! Pause YouTube, 6ftHax here. Happy guys, today my first battle of this clan war thing that was going on in a Discord server. I want to say that it's hosted by the token minorities, but I'm only like 90% sure of that. I don't really know, to be honest. But essentially the clan war is like 7 groups of like 6 or 5 people, and it's just clan wars really. You battle in draft league, OU, NU, like standard tiers and all that stuff. And for this matchup, I got chosen to play in the draft pool, so that was pretty cool. So me and 4 of the members of my team, the Backstreet fuckboy, shouts out to Shoddy for that name. Which I'll probably, if I can remember everybody who was in the BSF, I'll leave a link to them down below. But we faced the League of Nations, I think is what they were called. And funny enough, I got paired up against their captain, which I thought was kind of cool. And I was playing the second battle because I'm pretty sure we had to win at least 3 of our 5 games. So as long as we won 3 games in a row, we wouldn't have to battle the last 2, or we could still battle the last 2 or something like that. But who knows? At this point, it was us 1, them 0. So if I win this one, that puts us in the lead 2-0. If they win this one, then it ties it 1-1, and that puts a little bit more pressure on us. So I'm hoping to not pull out an L for the BSF on this one. But in future uploads, if you guys do want to see more of these clan war stuff, I'm not going to be part of the BSF anymore, because after this first clan war, we just kind of disbanded because I guess Shoddy wasn't feeling it, and I decided to join my buddy Matty Brolick's squad, or his clan. So I'll probably be uploading battling for them in the future if you guys see any more of these clan war stuff. But yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see this down below. Like I said, it's not all just going to be draft league. Some of it's going to be like OU, UU, NU, and stuff like that. And I was facing Yamato404 or 4040, something like that. If you watch this, my man, you got a YouTube, let me know. I'll leave a link to it down below. I don't know if he uploads or anything like that. But yeah, he was the captain. So I got paired up with him, and you guys see how stupid my team is right now. Like, if this was like an actual draft, this draft would be absolutely insane. My other 2 Pokemon, we had 8 Pokemon, because it was just a pool of 8 Mons. And my other 2 Mons are as followed right here. Hold on. I had Jolteon and Bulu. These 8 together, I really honestly think I had the best draft out of my team and my opponent's team. So on the top here is what Yamato's 8 Mons were. These first 6 right here, the Thunders, Latios, Sylveon, Scizor, these first 4 are the main 4 I definitely think he's going to bring. The last 2 are honestly kind of interchangeable. I can see him not bringing Swampert because of Bulu, obviously. I could see Serena maybe coming because it does spin, U-turn, that could be a little bit annoying. Nasirum, Cofagrigus could be a kind of nuisance late game, so I gotta watch out for that. Then Entei, I definitely think he's gonna bring Entei. Like, yeah, I have a Dragonite and a Blastoise, but Entei can still apply a lot of pressure, so I definitely expect him to bring these 6. If not Swampert, then definitely Serena over Swampert. But that just means he doesn't have Stealth Rock, so if he does want to have rocks, then he needs to have Swampert, which means his last Mon is going to be interchangeable between these 3 Mons right here, which I should be able to deal with accordingly. But let's take a quick run through of my team. Zemu, Fly, Dragon Dance, Dragonite absolutely wrecks him late game, so this is essentially my win condition. After I weaken his team, I can hopefully bring this in. At +1, I outspeed Timid, max speed Thunderous by 1 point, so I didn't have to go Jolly unless I wanted to run a lot more bulk. But I want the power, especially to hit harder with extreme speed and Earthquake. We have Sasha, the Nidoqueen. This is essentially my best answer to the Scizor. Actually, some of these EV spreads aren't 100% what they originally were, because all my teams got deleted the other day. So along with those, the original version of the team got deleted, but I'm pretty sure I have all like the EVs correctly. I'm pretty sure I had like max, yeah, like 248. It was something like this. I had a little bit of speed creep, not too much, just speed creep, some speed EV'd Scizor, I'm pretty sure. If not, then I didn't have any speed. But I'm pretty sure I had at least like 16 or 20 speed on my Nidoqueen. But essentially, this is my best answer to non-Psychic or non-Psychium Z. Thunderous at +2. I chew any hit. I easily chew a Hidden Power Ice, and then I can just Sludge Wave, potentially knock him out after Rocks, which is going to be pretty nice. Rocky Helmet is literally just to punish the Scizor. There's really no reason for him to not bring Scizor, because that's his only answer to Tapu Bulu. So anytime Scizor comes in, I can switch into Nidoqueen, and I'll be able to consistently chip it down with Rocky Helmet, which is pretty awesome, because this is also going to be able to smack around most of his team, honestly. Like, bar Swampert, Sludge Wave and Flamethrower really hits everything for pretty decent and neutral damage, so that's a huge plus. Rocks are going to be absolutely important in this battle to get chip damage. He needs to either have Defog on Scizor or Latios, or he has to have Rapid Spin on Serena, which he could easily have Rapid Spin on Serena and then the other two could be like setup, or Serena could just be like a bulky pivot and then he could have Defog on Scizor or something like that. So either way, Sludge Wave plus Flamethrower really hurt his whole team. T-Spikes are absolutely going to be amazing in this battle because he has nothing to get rid of them outside of a form of hazard removal, which is Defog or Rapid Spin, so I can just keep applying pressure to him and consistently poison whatever he wants to bring in, like Sylveon, Entei, Swampert, Cofagrigus. Actually, if I get up T-Spikes and he does have Cofagrigus, T-Spikes are going to be even more important because I need to poison Cofagrigus because Nasty Room could be a little annoying late game. We have Weavile here, which is actually really good in this matchup too. This checks a lot of his team. If I Pursuit Trap Latios, that thing's going to be gone. If I can weaken the Thundurus, it's going to be in range of the Ice Shard. I have enough speed to outspeed Timid Max Speed Thundurus by 1 point, so I cannot prioritize a potential Thunder Wave and knock him out or pick him off with the Ice Shard. I went with Expert Bolt as opposed to like Bandit or Life Orb or Black Glasses just because I wanted to get the extra boost from Icicle Crash and Ice Shard for the super effective hits and dealing just a little bit of extra damage to the Latios, the Serena, and the Thundurus. Next up, we have Scarfed and Fernape. This is just kind of a if Dragonite can't sweep late game and Fernape actually does kind of win the battle because I hit everything for super effective or neutral damage with these moves. So all I have to do is just weaken his team a bit, then I can just bring an Ape and just basically win late game. I don't think I had max speed. I want to say I only had like 300 speed on this, honestly, or was I adamant? Actually, no, yeah, I was adamant Scarf with like 300 speed because this hit his whole team. Yeah, this was the like original spread. I was originally adamant. Next off, we have my boy Blastoise Mega Tortuga. My boy Blastoise, aka Mega Blastoise, aka Tortuga, one of the MVPs from UCL Season 2. And this final move was originally going to be Ice Beam, but Scizor was still kind of a problem, especially if he weakens my Nidoqueen and I lose my Infernape. Having HP Fire on Blastoise ensures that I always 2-hit KO Scizor after Stealth Rocks with HP Fire. So even if it was like, I'm pretty sure even if he was like Max Spadef after Rocks, it's still 2-hit KO'd by HP Fire. So that's pretty awesome. That's the whole reason to have HP Fire. Although Ice Beam would be nice because I can 2-hit KO the Serena, which I do have a bit of speed creep to outspeed some speed EV Serena. So on the switch in, I can Ice Beam it and then knock it out next turn. Dark Pulse is just kind of a nice spammable move against his team. I don't think he's got a fighting type, right? Yeah, like look at his team. I literally can just spam Dark Pulse and Scald. Once the Serena drops, I can just spam Scald. Then the final Mon is going to be Jose the Jirachi here with enough speed to outspeed Jolly Max Speed Scizor. I'm pretty sure it only reaches 274 speed. I don't think he would bring Jolly Max Speed Scizor, but if he did, I can just outspeed it and then maybe chip it down with Iron Head. I originally had U-Turn on this actually over Grass Knot, but I realized that Swampert is kind of a problem to this squad if I'm not able to weaken him or if he's able to consistently pass off wishes. So the combination of Iron Head and Grass Knot covers the Sylveon and covers Sylveon potentially wish passing the Swampert because I can do a solid like 50 to 60%, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that is the quick run through of the team. With that being said, let's get into the actual battle. Alright guys, so we got the matchup here, and actually, before I get into the actual narration to this, I was originally going to upload my 100th Wi-Fi battle today, but the person I'm supposed to battle, we're going to battle tonight instead, so that should be going up tomorrow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, we should be battling today, so hopefully tomorrow I can upload battle 100, and yeah, it's kind of crazy that I've already had like 100 Wi-Fi battles. I know I'm getting a little sidetracked, but yeah, I was originally going to upload a Wi-Fi today, but me and the person I was supposed to play, we couldn't play yesterday. So yeah, fingers crossed, tomorrow we will hopefully have Wi-Fi battle number 100. But for right now, we got this this awesome clan war between the Backstreet fuckboys and the League of Nations. So he brought essentially almost everything I thought he was going to bring. He brought the exact first 4 Mons I thought, then Swampert as a Stealth Rocker, so his last Mon was going to be the Cofagrigus, Entei, or the Serena here. And honestly, I'm a lot happier to see Serena than Entei or Cofagrigus because I don't have to worry about switching into Bandit Sacred Fires, and I don't have to worry about Nasty Room Cofagrigus late game. Serena honestly shouldn't even be that big of an issue, especially if it's going to be like U-turning or pivoting it around. I do have the Rocky Helmet on my Nidoqueen, so that's going to be really nice. T-Spikes are still going to be really handy in this battle because I can still poison half his team, but they aren't going to be as huge of a priority because at the same time, half of his team is not affected by them. So if anything, I do still want to get up Stealth Rocks, hopefully, and just pressure his team. Swampert, definitely going to be a Stealth Rocker. Do have a solid Rapid Spinner in my Blastoise. He can also not stop me from Rapid Spinning, so that's really good. And Fernape can definitely win late game once I weaken the Swampert and the Latios a bit. I can just bring it in, click Adamant Scarf, Flare Blitzes, and just annihilate him, so it's going to be really good. Dragonite also just wins late game after a Dragon Dance. Weavile should be able to trap the Latios. Actually, this whole half of his team here just gets beat by Weavile, so that's going to be really good as well. And his only real switch into my Nidoqueen is going to be this Swampert, so I got to keep that in mind. Looking at leads though, I was really positive that he was either going to lead with the Swampert or lead with the Scizor. There's no real reason for him to want to lead with Thundurus, I think, because he can definitely save Thundurus late game. Latios can be saved late game. Sylveon's not typically a lead. He can maybe lead Serena, but if I lead Infernape, that's going to be really bad for him. So if anything, I expected Swampert or Scizor as his main lead. So he is actually going to lead off with the Thundurus, as I end up leading off with my Jirachi, because Jirachi covered him leading off with Scizor and leading off with the Swampert. I could have just smacked Swampert right in the face with the Grass Knot, got off a solid 50-60% as he most likely went for the rocks. I chew an Earthquake, and then I could have wished or doubled out or gone from there. If he led Scizor, I could have found out what spread he was running or if he had the knockoff or not, but because he ended up leading off with the Thundurus, this is actually a little bit scary because he could easily have the knockoff. He could easily just go for a Thunder Wave. He could also potentially Volt Switch if that's what he wanted to carry. So I'm just going to switch directly into my Nidoqueen. This covers him going for whatever move he wants to go for. Even if he has a Psychic, he's not going to go for it turn 1 on my Jirachi, and it turns out that he's got the Substitute. Now the fact that he has Substitute is actually just a little bit terrifying because this thing behind a sub at +2 could turn out to be a humongous problem, especially if he's got the Psychic or if he gets really good rolls with the Hidden Power Ice at +2. If he does have Thunderbolt as a stab move, then he can only have HP Ice, Focus Blast, or Psychic as his other moves. So I need to find out which other coverage move he has to hit my Nidoqueen with, because he needs to have either Psychic or HP Ice. And honestly, just HP Ice isn't even bad, as I am going to be able to break the Substitute after he goes for the Nasty Plot. I do want to scout out to see if he's got the Psychic or not, so I'm going to switch directly into my Dragonite, as he actually makes a really good play here and expects me to not stay in, wanting to scout out to see what he wanted to go for, and he's going to go for another Substitute. Now the reason why I switched directly into my Dragonite was because if he did have the Psychic at +2, there's no way he should knock me out after breaking my multi-scale, and then I can go for the extreme speed or 2 extreme speeds and just get off a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I am just at that point sacking my win condition, but like I said, I can still win with Infernape late game as well. So even if I lost Dragonite here, the matchup might have been a little bit tougher, but it would have been good to get rid of this Thundurus not even 5 turns into this battle, because with Thundurus gone, that relieves a lot of offensive pressure off of my team, making it a lot easier for me to pivot around and play around his other 5 Mons if I was able to get rid of this Thundurus. So I'm going to go straight for the E-Speed. I can definitely break the sub, as he's going to go for the Thunderbolt. That does way too much damage, so yeah, he might have actually been able to knock me out after he broke my multi-scale, so I only would have been able to break the sub or just got off a little bit of chip damage. Actually, no, he wouldn't have subbed if he Psychic, so I would have got off some chip damage, and then I probably could have Pursuit Trapped him with my Weavile. Either way though, I'm able to break the sub, chew a Thunderbolt, and at this point I should be able to just go for another E-Speed, put him in range of where he can't go for another Substitute, which is going to make this Thundurus a little bit more manageable. And if I can keep up offensive pressure, there's no reason for him to be able to get a free wish to this Thundurus, as long as I do keep up offensive pressure is what I meant. So I am just going to go for the safe E-Speed again. Honestly, him switching out was a pretty good play on his part. I mean, there's really no reason for me to not just go for the E-Speed again, especially if I am a Choice Banded variant, which I could very well be, and that's probably what he was expecting here. So obviously Queenly Majesty stops priority moves, but the cool thing about this scenario now is that if he's not Scarf Serena, there's no way he outspeeds me. Look at his team. Nothing is safely going to switch into an adamant Z fly coming from Dragonite. I know it's a little bit early to pop my Z move, but I'm really not in the position where I want to go for Dragon Dance or just go straight for the fly. If anything, I want to go for the Z fly right here and absolutely annihilate something or just nuke it and put it in range of where I can then revenge kill it, because again, all I have to do is just keep up the offensive pressure so I can prevent him from just really wishing with his Sylveon. So I am going to go straight for the Z-Fly here, as he probably thought I was locked into extreme speed, so Serena just gets absolutely obliterated by Supersonic Sky Strike, as in comes the Swampert. Me switching out is very, very obvious. I could easily bring in my Blastoise. I could also even switch into... Actually, no, I guess Blastoise is really my only switch in. But the downside to that is that he just gets up rocks for free, or he could potentially Scald Burn me on the switch in. So I'm going to make a pretty aggressive play here, and I'm actually going to go for the Dragon Dance. The good thing about going for the Dragon Dance here is that a +1, nothing is still going to safely switch into a regular fly coming from my Dragonite. So he does take the chance to get up to Stealth Rocks, as I am then going to go for the fly, revealing that he's got the Ice Beam. I can just go for fly here, get off a solid hit on the Swampert. I'm going to be doing 49% after leftovers, putting this in range of where Grass Knot from my Jirachi is going to knock it out. So it's going to be absolutely great for me later in this battle, because getting off this chip damage was absolutely huge on Swampert. It's also in range of where it can't safely switch into 2 close combats from Infernape, so that's another huge plus, as he makes a really good play here, knows that I'm going to prioritize getting rid of the rocks and switches directly into his Thundurus. He is then going to just go straight for the Thunderbolt, probably expecting me to not allow him to get a free substitute. As this turn, I do switch out, expecting him to go for the Z move, and as you saw there, he does go for the Z move. And as I mentioned, he either has to have Z-Fly or he's got to have a Focus Blast, because I'm pretty sure that those are the only 2 other coverage moves with Z moves that made any sense. I guess Gigavolt Havoc made sense, but I don't really think he needed that. I definitely think he needed either Z-Psychic or Z-Focus Blast to power through one of my walls that dealt with this Thundurus. Again, there was also the chance that he had the Hidden Power Ice, but at this point, I now know he doesn't have the Hidden Power Ice, and there's no way he's going to go for a Gigavolt Havoc on Nidoqueen, as it does turn out that he's got the Shattered Psyche doing 0 to my Jirachi. This is actually really good information for me, because now my Nidoqueen can actually live a non-+2 Psychic. I think if he did get the +2 Psychic, had about an 18% chance to knock me out with the damage roll if he wasn't modest. Actually, there's a chance that he could have been modest, so I'm going to break his substitute here, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish him off with my next Iron Head. Luckily, it does 21 min unless he's running HP investment, so I chew the +2 Thunderbolt, knock out the Thundurus, and now a huge offensive threat is gone, which means the only real issues at this point are going to be the potential SD Scizor and a Calm Mind Latios, as he ends up bringing in the Swampert. Ooh, I have never been more happy to have had a last minute move put on a Pokemon, because I actually put Grass Knot on Jirachi, I think like an hour or 2 before we battled. So Grass Knot right here is a guaranteed knockout at the range of HP Swampert is at, unless I get like absolute minimum damage or he's got a lot of Spadef EVs. So I'm gonna catch him completely off guard, go for the Grass Knot, and just annihilate this Swampert. This is absolutely huge, because now his Stealth Rocker is gone. That means I don't have to waste a turn going for Rapid Spin that he could easily abuse. I get rid of Swampert, putting me in a 5-3 lead, and I can now hopefully get on my Stealth Rocks and pressure him as well. T-Spikes at this point aren't going to be as entirely necessary for my Nidoqueen to get up, but if I am able to get up Stealth Rocks, that's going to be really, really good for me. So in comes the Latios. Now, the fact that he brought in Latios on Jirachi really caught me off guard. Like, I honestly don't know why he, at the time, I didn't know why he made this play. So it turns out that he's got the substitute, and I'm thinking, okay, well, substitute's not a problem. I can live any hit, just go for Wish. And then he pulls out the Reflect type, which I literally did not think he would bring. So now this Latios is a Steel Psychic type instead of a Dragon Psychic type, which means my Jirachi can literally do nothing to him. So I'm going to switch out here into my Blastoise, as he reveals to have the Calm Mind. So he's shown Substitute, he's shown Reflect type and he's shown Calm Mind, which means his last move needs to either be Dragon Pulse or Psychic. But mono attacking Latios in general in this matchup, I think it's just really bad for him to bring. So while this does seem a little bit terrifying, it's not really that bad. It's just I need to figure out a way to play around this Latios, because there's no way that he's gonna have Recover as his final move and not have any offensive moves. That would actually just be stupid. So he doesn't have Recover. That means that dealing with this set is a little bit easier for me. It's just trying to break the Substitute and hopefully put him in range of where I can either Pursuit Trap him or just pick him off with my Infernape. So thanks to the little bit of chip damage from the Iron Head, I'm going to be able to break the Substitute here with the Dark Pulse. As he goes for the Reflect type, he is now just a solid Water type because my Blastoise is a Water type. And I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse here, trying to spam it to break his Substitute, because my best bet of dealing with this Latios right now is to break the sub, switch into Infernape as he goes for the Substitute again, because there's no reason for him to go yet for his offensive move. I was really positive he wouldn't go straight for the Dragon Pulse or the Side Shock here, and by bringing in my Infernape, I am going to be faster than this Latios. I will be able to break his Substitute, and then I can find out what his offensive move is, which turns out to be Shadow Ball. Now, unfortunately, at this point in the battle, turn 24, I've lost both of my late game win conditions. So that is a little bit annoying, because late game SD Scizor could maybe be a nuisance if I lose my Blastoise. So at this point, I need to keep Blastoise and Nidoqueen healthy enough to deal with his Sylveon and his Scizor. So this Latios did unfortunately pick off my late game win condition, but it's fine because this gives me a switch into my Weavile. I now know that this Latios literally does nothing to my Weavile. Weavile 110% still beats this Latios 1v1. I can still Pursuit Trap it, get off the chip damage, and then go from there. The only downside is that Sylveon and Scizor respectively can still beat my Weavile. So Weavile is still going to be very needed for me to deal with this Latios. So I'm just going to go straight for the Pursuit. There's literally no reason for me to not go for Pursuit. He's not going to stay in, and he's not going to try and set up a Substitute or go for the Calm Mind or Shadow Ball me, because obviously I resist the move. So he does end up switching out, get off the very needed chip damage, and as I mentioned earlier, as long as I keep up the offensive pressure, that Sylveon is not going to be able to pass off a Wish to Latios. So that's definitely something I have to watch out for. So as in comes the Scizor, he's either going to want to go for the Bullet Punch or go for the U-turn. Obviously, I don't want to stay in and take either of those, so I'm going to switch directly into my Nidoqueen, which luckily does have the Rocky Helmet damage, hasn't taken any prior damage, and I'm going to be able to start chipping down his Scizor, which is going to be really good for me. As in comes the Latios, with Latios being at below 50% and me knowing his only offensive move is Shadow Ball, I can just stay in with Nidoqueen here and go for the Sludge Wave. Luckily, Sludge Wave is doing enough damage and is going to do enough damage to where he's not going to be able to freely get up a Substitute against my Nidoqueen without having to be punished for it. And even if he Calm Minds and boosts up, I still 2-hit KO the Substitute. He doesn't knock me out, and as long as I keep Nidoqueen at high enough HP, I can still keep this to check his Scizor and pressure his Sylveon. So me staying in here, going for the Sludge Wave, I really thought was my best play. I guess in hindsight, I could have maybe switched directly into my Weavile. That also wouldn't have been a bad play here, but I didn't want to potentially switch it in on a Reflect type or a a Shadow Ball, because I really thought he was going to try and go for the Reflect type this turn instead of going for the Substitute. So I didn't want to bring in Weavile, then him turn into a Dark Ice type, and then my knockoffs and my Pursuits are doing 0. But I guess I still beat him, but if I pursued him, he would still be able to live, and then this Latios would still be around for later in the battle. So by staying in with my Nidoqueen here, I know I can easily chew a +1 Shadow Ball, and I can break his Substitute, and now I can switch into my Weavile here, which should be able to beat this Latios after leftovers this turn, as he does end up going for the Reflect. Honestly, that doesn't even matter, because if he does go for the Shadow Ball, he's going to be doing 0 to me. He's not going to switch out because he can obviously expect me to go for the Pursuit, so I do go for the knockoff, and then this next turn I'm going to guarantee knocking him out with the Pursuit. Even if I had gone for the Pursuit before going for the knockoff, I still would have been able to KO him, I'm pretty sure. So luckily, down goes the Latios, and at this point I am up 4-2, and things are looking pretty good for me. But the combination of Sylveon and Mega Scizor at this point in the battle, with me losing Infernape, is actually still really annoying to play around, just because I haven't got off any prior damage on the Sylveon, and the Mega Scizor is still at 83% HP. So in comes the Sylveon. I'm just gonna go for the Icicle Crash to get off as much damage as I can as he switches into a Scizor, probably scouting out to see if I had the Poison Jab or not, which is a good play on his part. Luckily, I'm able to chip him down a bit, as he's gonna make a very aggressive play and going for the Swords Dance here. And it turns out that he is running some Speed EVs, or he's probably like a jolly bulky variant of Mega Scizor, because if you guys saw the team building process, I'm like 90% sure I ran a bit of speed creep on Nidoqueen to outspeed non-speed EV'd Mega Scizor, so I would have been able to bop him here with the flamethrower, but because he outsped me and got off this damage, I now know he's running some speed and he's probably not as bulky as I had expected him to be. So he is going to U-turn on now into his only Pokemon, which is the Sylveon. I definitely outspeed the Sylveon unless he's Scarfed or something along those lines, so Sludge Wave is going to do a lot of damage to him, as he's going to end up just picking me off with the Shadow Ball. This is perfectly fine because this gives me a free switch into my Jirachi. Now, the good thing about Jirachi in this game is that I'm back up to full HP, and he's also not seen my final move. He's seen me go for Wish, Iron Head, and Grass Knot, which means he could be thinking I have either the Hidden Power Fire or that I have the Fire Punch lying in the back. So him switching in the Scizor is a bit of a questionable play for him to make. But realistically, my last move is Protect, so I can't even do anything to the Scizor, but he don't know that. So I'm just going to go for the Iron Head here, pick off this Sylveon, and at this point, with Scizor being his last Mon, I do still have my Mega Blastoise at full HP. I know he's going to go for the Swords Dance. He needs to go for the Swords Dance. This is his only way of winning the battle at this point, and that's actually why I didn't go for the Wish with my Jirachi, because if I had gone for Wish, that gives him one free Swords Dance. And then as I pass off the Wish to my Blastoise, that gives him a second Swords Dance. That means I'm staring down a +4 attack Mega Scizor, which can actually just win the game at this point. So by hard switching directly into my Blastoise, as long as he doesn't crit me after going for the Swords Dance, he is in range of where a Hidden Power Fire is going to pick him off, and I can win the battle. So I am luckily going to outspeed him here and finish him off, and that is going to be the victory in my favor. So I'm able to pull out the second victory for the Backstreet fuckboys. And actually, hold on, where is Blastoise here? Hold on. 202 speed. Yeah, because he was definitely running some speed on that Scizor. Because non-speed EV Nidoqueen is 188, and then non-speed EV Mega Scizor is, hold on, what would you assume he's adamant? Yeah, see, like, he had to be running some speed, if anything, but he wasn't running enough to outspeed my Blastoise. So luckily we're able to pull out the victory there at the end. So good game to Yamato. Again, I don't know if he's got a YouTube or not, but if you see this, my mans, let me know. I'll link it down below. And yeah, guys, let me know if you guys want to see some more of these future clan wars. And again, I will not be part of the BSF anymore. I'll be part of the Bullet Punch Club for future games, and Wi-Fi battle number 100 will be going up tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears of hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.